It is time once again for an update on our master crypto portfolio. How do we do? Did the SEC's decision on XRP have an impact on the numbers? I'm sure it did. Let's see by exactly how much. Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie and this is Altcoin Buzz. As always, I'm going to wish you all the very best in every investment that you choose to make, whether that's into a crypto portfolio or otherwise. But I'm not a financial or investment advisor, and that means that this video is not financial or investment advice. As many of you know by now, we've had this portfolio for almost a year, and because the numbers have been what they've been because the market has been suffering, the portfolio has not impressed us, to be candid. That's going back to last year, at least 2022. 2023 has been better, and most of us saw this during the spring and a little bit more recently. Hopefully you were able to profit as well. Bitcoin is not just leading the market again, it's actually doing much better than the altcoin market. That just seems to be the reality right now. So how is this affecting us and the numbers? It actually turns out that there hasn't been a huge difference between June and July of this year. Now, the positive XRP news that we saw only really kept altcoins from going lower, but it didn't really necessitate a huge pump. For XRP, yes, of course, and certain others, but it didn't really have broad market impact. And we probably know that you've seen recently that most alts are not doing very much or even losing ground. However, interest in Bitcoin seems to be rising steadily. And unfortunately, that's been affecting our portfolio a lot, in fact. Let's take a look here. We have 11 holdings, and our top holding is Bitcoin. Our other 10 holdings range from $300 all the way to a $1,500 investment. Other than Bitcoin, which is $3,500 out of our $10,000 investment, everything else is represented by some form of altcoin. And look, it is a good thing that we have Bitcoin, as we almost seem to be starting an anti-alt season. Bitcoin is leading, yes, but altcoins are not following, not yet. Our total return since inception almost a year ago is 7.87%, pretty modest. And this is pretty good in the sense that it's better than some other portfolios out there are doing, but those are not spectacular numbers by crypto standards. But the two big chips of Bitcoin and Ethereum are crushing us right now. Their returns over that same period are 43% and 35% respectively. And that just speaks to the value of diversifying your portfolio. You may want to go, risk on in terms of some of your altcoin selections, but it's always nice to be counterbalanced by the safer bets. In our case, once again, BTC and ETH. So that means, for now, just holding either or both, i.e. holding Bitcoin or Ethereum, that would have been better overall in terms of an ROI than this particular portfolio. Let's break the numbers down a little bit more. We're looking here at return on investment for the months of June and July and doing a comparison. And when it comes to July, it's really just like June in the case of all but 3 of our positions. The fact that they're red and they're losing money, unfortunately. Unlike June, all 8 of these positions are down further, believe it or not, in the last 30 days. And the worst offender by percentage is actually BNB, down only 1.1% in June, but the discrepancy is notable. It's down 8% in July. But there's also been some Binance-related FUD recently, fear, uncertainty, doubt, and it's not justified in our opinion. So we do expect the price of BNB to bounce back. But continuing here, our 2 biggest losers, down 45% and 38% respectively, are Moonbeam and Kujira. It's very disappointing. But look, we're still high on both projects long term. It's just they haven't been performing well in the short term. We have to remind ourselves that, look, no fundamentals have changed for the worse. So we're going to continue holding on to these. We love the projects fundamentally. They keep building, they keep improving. It's just not being reflected in the price right now. In fact, we are holding on to all our positions for 2 reasons specifically. Number 1, like I alluded to, none of the fundamentals have changed for the worse in any of our holdings. That's the first reason. And number 2, overtrading is one of the biggest reasons for big trading losses. So it's not something that we're going to pursue unless there's some emergency, which we don't observe right now. So again, we're only going to change out our positions when something actually changes with the project itself, but that has not been the case. Our 3 winners, who are definitely holding our portfolio up, are Bitcoin, The Graph, and Luxo. And honestly, all 3 are still a great buy at today's prices. And the clear leader here at plus 43% is Bitcoin. It is crushing. Luxo does have a higher ROI at 61%, but it's down from the 2x that we saw before. And the graph is coming along nicely at 15.21% ROI. We are not taking profits here, definitely not. We're going to continue to observe and, if necessary, modify, but not, again, unless there's an emergency. So that's the state of our portfolio. Let us know what you think the reaction of XRP would have been. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a little bit more positive and translate into higher prices for the altcoin market, but that wasn't the case, with a few exceptions, unfortunately. Let me know if you guys saw a pump or if you experienced similar numbers, better numbers, worse numbers. I'm curious to know your results. We do have some things on our radar for next month. So first of all, we know that some of you are curious as to whether or not we're going to add XRP or Stellar Lumens to our portfolio. We did a few videos on both XRP and XLM recently. Check those out if you've not already. But the short answer is that no, we are not going to be adding to our portfolio, at least not right now. XRP in particular, but also XLM, since it runs a fork of Ripple and has a former XRP founder, they have more regulatory clarity than they did before. But number one, there are still unsettled matters in the suit, even though the industry considers them minor. And number two, we have other projects that we like more when it comes to the payments arena. But again, for now, we're not making any changes, but we do reserve the right to make those changes if the situation warrants. We're also watching and waiting to see if we truly are in the early stages of a new bull market. Some of us at Altcoin Buzz think we are. Some of us are a little bit more cautious. Maybe cautiously optimistic is the right way to put it, but there hasn't been sort of that definitive signal yet. It's still open to interpretation. Plus, we're watching narratives that we think are going to crush the next bull market, things like Web3 infrastructure, privacy, artificial intelligence, and real-world asset platforms. So when we do make changes to our portfolio, it's going to be reflected by one of these areas, and it's going to be represented by an altcoin that is a leader in one of those spaces.